I'm coming up on 2 years of being at this parish. And something that has just amazed me is we have an extraordinary legacy here. I mean, just this parish, this cathedral church, has its humble beginnings as just a parish, established by Father Paul Smith, who was an Irish-born Irishman who came across the ocean to spend his entire priesthood serving a foreign land, serving this diocese, which at the time actually was the Diocese of Tucson. With him, he brought to this parish a group of 5 religious sisters, commonly known as the Sisters of Loreto. They also were these Irish-born women who came across the ocean, and at the time, the expectation, the rule for their order was that they weren't going to go back to visit home ever again. And they came. It's quite a legacy. Sister Raphael is our principal at the school, and she summarized their identity in 3 words. This is, for me, I think this is a great legacy. I was sharing this with Deacon Doug the other day. I think this is our legacy. What makes us special is just a particular way how we can live out the Christian faith at St. Simon and Jude. That legacy, summarized in 3 words: mission, sacrifice, and service. Those 3 words Sister Raphael shared with us last week in a very bittersweet evening where she announced that this is her last year as the principal of our school. That makes 51 years as principal. Unreal, unimaginable. That kind of dedication. Like Mother Teresa said, Mother Teresa, by the way, a fun fact, Mother Teresa was the Loreto sister before she started the Missionaries of Charity. Mother Teresa was formed in the same house, the same place that our sisters were formed in Ireland. That's the spirit, that's the passionate zeal for the Lord that our sisters come from. Same root. And those 3 words captured, summarized that spirit: mission, sacrifice, and service. Today, in this week of Gospel of Life, gosh, this is the first January in over 50 years that we're not marking that Supreme Court decision that left the unborn vulnerable and many women and men in great pain. But there's so much work to do, especially here locally. And life will not be protected if there isn't a culture of life and a civilization of love. And those can't exist, I think, without something of those 3: mission, sacrifice, service. So let's take the first one, mission. Mission, Sister Raphael said, she just has this simple, humble way about her. And she said, I didn't want to be principal. I was a teacher. I loved teaching, and I could have remained so for the rest of my life. But I was asked, because I know that I was given a mission. I'm here to follow what is asked of me. Mission means to be sent. The Latin root word is being sent. She knew she was sent, and she just goes where she's sent. She also said the secret to serving faithfully for 51 years, get this, was that she was never asked to go anywhere else. She was asked to go there, she stayed here, and was going to stay here until she was asked to leave, and she was never asked to leave. So she has, and I think you and I need to remember that as Christians, we have a mission. Our life is not our own. We belong to God. Even marriage, I love doing marriage prep and asking couples about their story, about how they decided to get married. And it's never like, well, we did the math and it just works. This is a clear, perfect fit. We have no issues whatsoever. No, it was this mysterious thing of, I can't imagine my life without her. Like I'm being called to this. Because that's the fact. We believe marriage is actually a calling, a mission given to you by God. I love doing marriage prep because it reminds me of how I found my mission to be a priest. And obviously, as a priest, I really felt this I can't imagine not being a priest now. It's so clear to me that Jesus called me to this. I can't tell you why. There's no calculation. I clearly, if I do the math, it doesn't make any sense that I'm a priest. But I was sent. And then as a priest, I just go to the parishes that I'm sent to. I'm currently sent here. This is my 7th job I've been given as a priest. I just do what I'm told. Friends, and there's no greater freedom than that. Speaking of marriage prep, that second word, sacrifice, is key for love. Sister Raphael was lamenting to me this week. She's said this actually many times before. She says, it's so sad that people think sacrifice is a negative thing. Sacrifice is key to love. Something's got to give. If I'm going to make space in my life for another person to occupy my heart, my time, my energy, it comes to sacrifice. In fact, when thinking of becoming a priest, as I was discerning, I was preparing to become a priest, one of the greatest inspirations I had were my sisters, specifically watching their marriage. I thought, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm kidding. I was inspired by my sisters because I saw that they loved their fiancés, their spouses, and that in getting married, they all of a sudden their schedule changed. Their schedule had to be arranged around their spouse. Some of their friendships had to go to make space for their spouse. Then when the kids came, they sacrificed sleep and all comfort. But I saw that they grew in love and joy. Sacrifice is key. It's a positive thing. If you want to love life, sacrifice will enable you to experience real love. I was doing marriage prep for this couple, and they were saying how they really love God. They pray often. They just, especially when they're in need, they find comfort in their prayer. But they have a really hard time getting to Mass. They're like, I just really love having this one-on-one with God, but Mass, it doesn't really reach me. And I said, you know what, I get it. It's kind of like you guys, they're this young Hispanic couple, family that they're really, really tight-knit families, and they even said, like, as they've been dating, it's kind of like their families have been dating, because these two families are kind of coming together with this marriage. And I said, imagine if you said to each other, I really love you, but I want nothing to do with your family. And they're like, oh, that'd be awful. Well, that's what we do to God all the time. God, I love you, I want to be with you, but I don't want anything to do with those people in the pews. Ugh, the Catholics are the worst. I get it. Think of families, when marriages, there's a lot of bad jokes about mother-in-laws for a reason. It's hard to love someone that you didn't grow up with. A family that has their own dynamics. It's hard work, it takes sacrifice, but it's essential to love. So is service. Service is essential to love. Service is essential to following through with our mission, to staying true to a sense that my life is not mine, it belongs to someone else. It's been a gift to me. And so I'm going to use my life to do what I'm told, to go where I'm sent by God. I'm going to embrace the joy of sacrifice that enables me to love. And I'm going to keep strong in that with an attitude of service, a disposition of, I'm a servant. And friends, today in this world, it's so easy for us to just get occupied with what people think of us, especially on social media. Or you just can't, even if you're not really into social media, you can't help but notice how many people liked your post. Or did anyone retweet? I don't use social media. Anyways, it can really consume you. Or even as a parish, here we are trying to serve. We want to do outreach, so we want our social media to reach people. So we do pay attention to the analytics. How many people have been following our page? Are more people following our pages? But all that can lead to a lot of self-consciousness, self-focus. And that, my friends, you and I know, leads to anxiety. We don't need that in our lives. And what helps us be free of anxiety, the anxiety of self-consciousness, is a spirit of service. Anyone who's volunteered with the poor or doing some sort of missionary work, real service to other human beings, has found it's a real joy. When you have those moments where you see someone better off because you went out of your way for them, that's not pleasure. Pleasure can be a distraction from true joy. When you see someone else better because of the time you spent in service, you experience joy, and it lingers. Mission, sacrifice, service. In this Gospel of Life week, the church is doing a Gospel of Life appeal. There's envelopes in your pews, envelopes at the exits. And I'm really excited to share one of the big initiatives we're trying to raise money for. It's called Walking with Moms in Need. We wouldn't have any life issues. We wouldn't need a pro-life movement if everyone felt supported, if every family was living the spirit of sacrificial love and service to each other with a sense of mission. If, as a society, we paid attention to those in need and helped bring about support. Walking with Moms in Need is a very simple initiative that's trying to establish in every parish a number of people can be referred to. So, to have someone that they can call, and that person is going to say, tell me about what you're going through, specifically for women with unplanned pregnancies or other emergencies, or women who just had a born child, giving them not just resources and referrals, but relationship. So yes, there's lots of great, amazing clinics throughout the city of Phoenix, but we want to establish a movement called Walking with Moms in Need, where women are connected with other women going through similar battles and struggles. So Walking with Moms in Need, a third of the collection from this Gospel of Life appeal, a third will come to the parish to help us get this going here. I'm still looking for the right people to put that together. And then 2/3 of that will go to the diocese to help them as they're organizing a diocesan-wide initiative to help connect women in different crises. That's just a joy. You know, sometimes we can feel like we're just one little person, a little drop in the ocean. But Mother Teresa loved to say that the ocean wouldn't be the same without that one drop. I invite us to consider in this Mass to pray. We have a lot of people who ask us for prayers. We have a lot of things we know we need to be praying for. But here in the Mass, let's pray. Let's bring our offerings, all the people in our lives that need prayers, let's bring it here to the Lord as He's going to pour Himself out again and again to us. Let's pray for those mothers in need. Let's pray for a renewal of a spirit of mission, sacrifice, and service amongst our own families, amongst this community here, that we might carry forward in time immemorial the legacy that's been built here.